Hey everybody, so yes, it's been a really long time since I posted on this channel, but I could get into how busy I am, but I'm not even going to bother because that's not even what this video is about. I am learning over again the importance of fasting and the importance of being in the Word and having conversations with God. And as I'm learning that, and as this happens every time I fast. It never lets me down. Every single time I make a plan to fast and I fast, God downloads into my system and God begins to reveal certain things to me and God clears up certain things for me. And so I just want to encourage you people out there as Christians to fast. I know how hard it can be at sometimes because you get hungry, clearly. You're not. But if you can't manage a full day, go half a day. Go from 6 to 12, go from 12 to 6. Right now I'm doing a 6 to 6 fast, or at least I'm trying to make it until 6 o'clock, but we'll see what happens. But God has been so faithful, God has been so good, that even while I'm fasting, He is downloading into my system and He's clarifying certain things for me. And He's bringing certain revelations and bringing things to light to me, and so I just thought that I'll come on here and share some of these things with you because I think it's very important that we begin to understand that God doesn't move as the world expects Him to move, and that's the main thing of this message, the main thing of this download that He's giving to me, is that God doesn't move as the world expects Him to move. And I'm going to put some examples toward you. The biggest one, Jesus Christ. When God sent His Son, you would think that the Son of the living God will come to a family, a royal family, because this is King. So you'd think that He'd come to a royal family, but what did God do instead? And it's a thing of humility, but it's also a thing of moving differently as how people expect God to move, because not only did God put His Son in the most humble beginning ever, right, but He didn't move as the world expected Him to move. Jesus was born in a manger, in a stable, not even in His parents' hometown. And sometimes God is getting ready to move you from where you are. God is getting ready to move you from out of your people's hometown. God is getting ready to move you from where you are, where you're stationed at this moment. And you need to be obedient, and you need to know that this is God's move. And if God is telling you to go, that you need to go, and that there's a reason why He's telling you to go. There's a purpose why He's telling you to go. He's not only protecting you, but He's getting ready to move within you in a completely different way than you are used to. Right? And so sometimes God is getting ready to move you from where you are, and you need to be obedient, and you need to go, even though the situation might not seem ideal. Think about it. Mary was heavily pregnant at the time, right? It was just her and her husband, and this one camel or donkey with them have to travel upon, but all the way to Bethlehem, with them jing bang them or whatever, what them did have in them house. And they obviously couldn't have carried that much, right? They couldn't have carried that much because it's just them and the one donkey, right? That was not the ideal situation. And Mary must have questioned and said, God, how are we going to survive this little that we have, right? And even more so, when they got to Bethlehem, there was nowhere. Mary went into labor and there was nowhere for them to deliver this baby. But you saw what God did in their lives, right? And so sometimes the situation might not seem ideal, and sometimes you might be going through certain things. And God is saying, trust me. Be obedient and continue to trust me, because I'm taking you from where you are to where you need to be, so that my purpose can prevail, so that my will can come to pass. And so I want you to know that God doesn't move as the world expects Him to move. Right? Because another reason for that is the spirit and the world don't look the same way, they don't operate the same way, they're not the same thing. And if you're not in the spirit, you will miss what God is doing in your life because you're looking at the world, you're looking at what seems ordeal, you're looking at what seems okay and what seems comfortable to you because this is what you're used to. But you need to open and move beyond what you're seeing into seeing into the spirit. Right? You need to see beyond your natural eyes and your natural mind can only see what's in the natural. But you need to ask God to open up your eyes and open up your mind and your ears to what He's doing in the spirit. So that you can begin to tune into the spirit, and so that when God begins to move in the spirit, you won't question, you won't be shocked, right? So it's fine if you look at me right now and you don't think that I'm an ordeal and what is coming out of my mouth isn't what you expect to hear, and what I'm writing isn't what you expect to read, right? And it's fine if what I'm doing isn't what you expect to see me doing. It's fine if where I am right now isn't where you expect to see me. That's all good. That's great actually. Right? Because that means that I'm no longer moving within the world. I'm moving within the spirit, and I'm moving where God wants to put me. I'm moving in the purpose that God has created for me. I'm walking that path that God has laid out for me. So it's fine if where you see me is not where you expect me to be. Right? But that is because I'm moving with God. And I'm moving with God's purpose. And I'm moving with God's timing. And God's timing and the natural timing is not the same thing. Right? And we always take that to mean that God's timing is way ahead, and that can be the case sometimes. But sometimes God's timing is just not what we expect. God's timing is not the ideal timing. It's not what everybody else is doing, and that's because that's God's timing and it's God's doing. And so therefore it can't be what everybody else is doing. Right? Because God moves as the spirit. God moves in the spirit and we move in the flesh. So it's fine. You need to begin to look and see beyond what you are seeing in the natural. Ask God to open your mind and open your eyes to see in the spirit and to see what He's doing. So all this comes down to knowing your identity, knowing who you are in your Creator, knowing who your Creator is and who you are as His child, as His heir to the kingdom. You need to begin to know. You need to search the Word, right? You need to search the Word. You need to spend more time in God for God to begin to reveal to you exactly who you are in Him. And when you know when you're confident in who your Father is, you have no worries. Being obedient won't be such a difficult thing. Having faith won't be such a difficult thing because you already know who you are, right? So my last word to you today is be obedient, walk in purpose, stay in purpose, and know your identity. Know you are in God. Bless you.